Namaste everyone. Welcome to Millionaire GRE. I am Punit. This is the fourth and final video on functions. If you have not watched the first three videos, please go through it before continuing with this one. In this video, we are going to discuss about shifting of the graph. So this is some function fx is equal to absolute value of x or mod of x. And this is how the graph looks like. Here these are the x values or the input values, and all the y values represent the output here. Or you can say y is equal to fx. That simply means y is the set of output values. Okay. So if x is 1, you get the value of y as 1, and you can check here. If you put x as 1, mod of 1 is 1. So fx is 1, which satisfies. Similarly, if you put x as minus 2, you get the value of y or the value of fx as 2. And you can check. If you put in place of x, if you put minus 2, the answer will be mod of minus 2, which is equal to 2, because absolute value always gives you a non-negative number. If the term inside is negative, it will give you a positive term. Right? This is the graph of fx is equal to mod x. Now, for any function fx and any positive integer k, the following are true. If you add a constant, the graph will shift that many units upwards. Similarly, if you subtract a constant, the graph will shift that many units downwards. If you add a constant inside the bracket, the graph will shift that many units to the left. If you subtract a constant inside the bracket, the graph will shift that many units to the right. Let me reiterate. If you are adding a constant to the output, the graph will shift that many units upwards. Subtracting a constant to the output, the graph will shift that many units downwards. Adding a constant to the input, here x is the input, adding a constant to the input, the graph will shift that many units to the left. Subtracting a constant to the input, the graph will shift that many units to the right. Okay. Now I can demonstrate this to you visually. Okay, here you can observe the graph of fx. Fx is equal to mod x. You can observe the graph. Now if you add a constant to fx, the graph shifts 2 units upwards. These two are identical graphs, but this blue one is 2 units upwards. Nothing else has changed. It has just shifted 2 units upwards. Similarly, if you subtract a constant, the graph should shift downwards by 2 units, and you see exactly that. If you add a constant inside the bracket, the graph should shift 2 units to the left, and that is exactly what happens. It shifts 2 units to the left. Again, if you subtract a constant inside the bracket, or if you are decreasing the input value by 2, the graph should shift 2 units to the right, and that is exactly what happens. Now this is some random function I have taken, mod x. You can take any other function and you will get the same result. For instance, let's take x square. X square, you can see it passes through 0, 0. It's a parabola. When we add a constant, it shifts upwards. Now these two graphs are completely identical. It's just that the blue one is 2 units upwards. Similarly, subtracting should shift it downwards, and that is what happens. Adding a constant inside the bracket should shift it 2 units to the left. That is exactly what happens. And then subtracting inside the bracket should shift it to the right. And that is exactly what happens again. And by the way, we are going to discuss more about parabola in the chapter of coordinate geometry, where we will also discuss more about shifting of the graph. So you can think of parabola, which we'll cover in the chapter coordinate geometry, as the continuation of this video. And with this, we have come to the conclusion of the chapter functions. In this video, we discussed about shifting of graphs. In the other videos, we defined what function is. We discussed about domain and range of function. We discussed about combination of functions. I'll see you in some another video with some another chapter. Thank you for watching. Bye.